So today we are going to learn identity access management. Okay, so just sharing the screen. Hope you can able to see my screen now. Okay, so what is the identity access management? First thing, IAM allows you to manage the users and their access level to the AWS console. Now, here, if you're going to work for an organization as an administrator, right? As an administrator, or you're being told in your company, or your manager going to be told to create any users and provide appropriate access to the user, so that he or she can able to access some level of applications and servers. So you have to use the IAM service on the AWS to provide and create users accordingly. Okay, so what it does, the IAM, the full form is Identity Access Management. Remember, Identity Access Management, that's called IAM. So IAM allows you to manage the users and their access labels to the AWS console. IAM is universal, it does not apply to region. And whatever things I have written it here, guys, I'm going to tell you all are the bullet points. I have not written anything which will make hundreds of pages and all. Okay, so IAM itself is very huge. I am just going to guide you. I'm going to show you the path where you can find it out and uh, go ahead and learn more, go more depth and learn more things. Okay. Also, I'll share you a document which will help you. There is a PDF document, a very good document I have collected, and I have received it when I was doing the classes and I was updating everything. I found a very good document which will help you to learn more depth on IAM and more other services of AWS. Also, it will help you to do the automations, because it will have that document will have all the codes, all the details, things in the uh, related to the AWS. Okay, end of this class actually I'll share that document. Okay, if I share now, you'll get confused because there are a lot of things will be there and you'll not know anything. So remember the first thing, IAM is universal. Okay, it does not apply region. So if you see about our EC2, right? If you see about our EC2, our EC2 instances was region specific. That means if you want to create your server on the Mumbai region or Singapore region, then you have to first choose and change the region and then create the service, then create the EC2 instances. But the IAM is universal, it does not apply to region. See, this point you may get questions in your interview. Also, if you are going for any certification, these questions may come. Okay, so IAM is universal, it does not apply to region. That means whenever you choose the IAM service, it will automatically go to global. Okay, when you create IAM, it will be automatically globally available. Now, the root account is the account created when first set up your AWS account. It has complete admin access. You should know this. The root account is the account which is created when we first set up our AWS. So you should know, because you already have set up your AWS account, and the email ID, Gmail or whatever email ID you have provided during the AWS account creation, that one is your root account. Never share that root account with anybody, the root account and password, because it has the super admin access. That
Hi
account,
Ranjit sir.
yeah.
Uh, I have one question.
Yeah.
So when you say like IAM is a global account,
Mm-hmm.
that means like if a root account belongs to Mumbai region,
Mm-hmm.
so if I have given a user as a IAM like identity access management,
Mm-hmm.
so he will be able to access any other region, or within the particular region itself only he will be able to access the system.
He'll access
How it works?
every region. It will be available for every region, but the access and the policy we have to design. Okay, suppose whenever you create user, right? what it says, I'll just explain. The next line, if you read it, new users have no permission when first created. Okay, so whatever things we are going to create, the users, right, based on the access you need, you have to provide it. Whether you want that user to be, sorry, can you go on mute? Yeah. Whatever access you are going to provide and whatever things you want to give to the user, you have to provide after creating the user. The first initial things is the user will be globally available. Okay, and that restrictions and policy we have to create it. I'll show you how to create the policy and how you can provide access. Okay, now when you say the new users have no permissions when first created, so whenever we create user, it will have no permission. That means it will not able to access anything. So we have to provide permissions to that based on the region, based on the application, based on the services. What are the services do you want that user to access? You have to provide. Okay. Now, once again, the new users will be assigned with access key ID and secret keys when first created. And this is very important, guide. Remember, new users will be assigned with access key ID and secret access keys when first created. And why we need this access key ID and secret access keys? Whenever we are programmatically doing something, like whenever we are doing any automations or writing or developing any API, that time we need this access key ID and secret keys to connect to the AWS account programmatically, right, in the back end. We don't need this access key ID secret key to log into the console. For login to the console, you need your root account and password, or your user account, IAM user account and password. Okay, so it is advisable always to set up the MFA, that is the multi-factor authentication, in your root account. So as I have already activated MFA in my account, I'll show you also how you can activate this multi-factor authentication, and it will be you might have seen, right, multiple applications will have double authentications. Once you have to provide your user ID password, and the next you have to provide some OTP and all to go through. Similar things also, MFA multi-factor authentication you have to set up. That is advisable. Okay, so what are the features of IAM? It is shared centralized access to your AWS account, granular permissions, multi-factor authentications to your account, provides temporary access for users whenever required. Suppose a new user joined to your team, and he has designated to work for an application for a few months, a few days. So temporarily you can provide access, so whenever he or she leaves, it will be automatically revoked. Okay, that also we can set it off using this IAM features. Also, similarly, for different cloud providers, they have different services to manage and create users and manage the user management and access related stuff. Like in Azure, we have Active Directory services. Okay, Active Directory services, which is no, popular in Azure. Similarly, in AWS, we have IAM. IAM. Okay, now there are a few key terminologies with related to the IAM services. Okay, what are those? One is the users, that is the end users, such as people, employees of an organizations. That means we are going to create an user, right? If an employee joined to your team, you have to create user account, right? That is users. Groups, a collection of users. Each user in the groups will inherit the permissions of the group. You got it, right? So that a collection of users, uh, each user in the group will inherit the permissions of the group. What does this mean? Whenever, suppose in your organizations you have three teams. One is development team, testing team, and suppose release team are there. So you have to create three different groups: dev group, release group, and test group, testing group, right? And relate all users related to development group should be added to the dev group, because that will be um, they'll be working in the dev related works, and this should be access provided to the dev servers, dev applications and all, right? So you have to create a group and assign. Then policies are made up of documents called as policy documents. These documents are in format of JSON format, and they give permissions. So the policies, what are the permissions do you need that user to have? Then we have to write the policies. Roles, assign a specific role to the user ID, create roles and assign them to the users. Okay, so all these things we are going to learn now. Each things will create one after another, and we'll see how creating users, changing permissions will affect or impact to the account, right? So there is another good point is related to the role-based connectivity, because in your AWS journey, even in your DevOps, right? Most of the cases will be using the role-based connectivity. Okay, so the roles are more secure than storing your access key and secret key on individual EC2 instances. Roles can be assigned to EC2 instances after it is created using both command line and console. Roles are easier to manage and roles are universal. The first point itself, it says everything, like roles are more secure than storing your access key and secret key. Like, so whenever we can access through users, right? If a user is accessing, like, so if user is working on or logging into any AWS console or anything, he or she might be using the access key and secret key programmatically working. But sometimes what happens, the APIs, whenever we are connecting to any kind of services, what we use, will maybe store the access key and secret key in some file, or in written in the document or program, so that the APIs can able to connect. That is not secure, because that access key and secret key can be easily no get by anyone in your team, or outsiders can easily find it out, right? So it is not secure. But roles are more secure, because you have to just create the role, set up the policies, and then that role you just assign into your program, then it will be automatically assigned. Everything will see in actions. Okay, so that's only about the theoretical things about IAM. So let's go ahead and see what IAM exactly. Now what I'm going to do, go to the services, and here in the left hand side, okay, you'll find it out, like one second, user application integration, business compute containers, database developers tools, management and governance. Okay, you'll see one component or one tab is called management and governance. So here you will find oh, it's not in management and governance. Okay, sorry, it is in security, identity and compliance. Okay, as it is related to the security, you will find in the security, identity and compliance tab. Okay, here you will find it, IAM is there, right? Even though if you don't know where exactly it is available, you know how to do that. Simply go here and search for IAM, right? If you search it IAM, you'll get exactly the IAM services on top. Then you can go ahead, see, I can find the IAM services, click on this, and you will be landed into IAM service dashboard. Okay, good. So what happened here, see, um, this is your IAM dashboard. Okay, there are lots of things here, and also in your dashboard, in our dashboard, you can see it here. The security recommendation, they are providing one. What is that? That is the add MFA for root user. So add MFA for root user enable multi-factor authentication. So how you can do it is very easy to do that. Simply click on add MFA. Okay, now we can see here you will be landed into the security credentials page, and here you have to simply use activate MFA. Click activate MFA, and you have to now choose which way you want your uh, MFA to be set, right? Either you can use virtual MFA device, security key, other hardware MFA devices. So the virtual MFA device is nothing but your the applications, one of the security applications which you will install on your in your mobile, and from there you can get the tokens. Okay, there will be 6-digit token. Hope if most of you would have worked the RSA token, you will have one hardware MFA device. This is what the token, right? Hardware MFA device will be the RSA token, and you will be using that token to connect to your server, right? Similarly, nowadays nobody using that RSA hardware tokens like the device. Everyone using the virtual devices. Okay, in the mobile, even RSA, the company itself, they provide the virtual applications from where you can get the tokens. Okay, it will be linked. Now select the virtual MFA device, continue, and here just click on the assign MFA. Okay, so what you do, uh, the first thing it says, install a compatible app on your mobile device on your computer. So let's check out the list of compatible applications. Click on that, and you'll find what is the multi-factor authentications and what is Sage exactly. The multi-factor authentication in AWS is a simple best practice that adds an extra layer of protection. That you know very well, right? Good. Now here is the device list of devices. Okay, list of applications which supports what type of devices. If you go with this virtual applications, go with the virtual applications, and we'll see here for Android and iPhone we have all these things for Android and iPhone. These are the Duo Mobile, LastPass Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, and Symantec VIP. Okay, all these things are free actually, guys. You can just install on your mobile phone. If you are using Android, anyone, you just choose it. I would suggest use either Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. I am using Google Authenticator. I have multiple accounts set up with. I'm using both Microsoft Authenticator for official purposes. For which company I am working, I am using Microsoft Authenticator, and personally I am using Google Authenticator. Okay, so it's up to you which authenticator you choose. Now just download, search in your no, Apple Play Store or iPhone no, store, iPhone App Store. You can search for anything and just install it. Once you install, uh, you'll see here it's giving us show QR code. Okay, just click on this, and open your app, open that application in your mobile phone and scan that code. Okay, immediately what it will provide, as soon as you scan it, immediately it will provide you the MFA code token. Just enter the token one first and wait for the token to go, and the next token it will come, right? Then enter that second token here. Okay, after that simply assign MFA. So once you assign MFA, it will be activated and it will be linked to the application in your mobile phone. Okay, to your mobile phone it will be linked and the token will be generated, and next time whenever you log in, it will ask you to provide the MFA token, and you have to go to your mobile, open the authenticator to get the 6-digit token and put it there. Okay, so it is a task for you. I showed you everything, so it is a task for you to set up the multi-factor authentications in your mobile phone, sorry, in your in your account, and it will be set up in your mobile phone as well. So you can get the tokens and account. I'll show you how it will be look like, okay, when you log into the account. Now, okay, so that is what about the MFA or multi-factor authentication. Now, once you activate it, it will not be there. So this one will be ticked, and you will not get any security recommendations. Okay. Now, what it says, the root user has no active access keys. Using access keys attached to an IAM user instead of the root user improves security. So the root that would be a question actually. Either a certifications, if you are going for AWS certifications, you may get a questions on this, or interview you may or may not. So the root user has no active access keys. Whenever you create account, you will be have only the email ID will be your root account, and the password, whatever you have set up initially, create the account, that will be your root user ID and password. Okay, and it will have no access keys and secret keys for root user. Remember, for root user there will be no access keys and secret keys. That's a point. Okay, good. So now you can see IAM resources. So we have groups, we have users, roles, policies, okay, identity provider. So all these things are available. Okay, now let's go and check and create everything. First thing, user groups are zero, sorry, users are zero. Now what I'm going to do, let's create an user first. Okay, go ahead, click on the users, and you see there are no users available. Okay, introducing the users list experience. Okay, now just go ahead and add users. Just remember guys, and watch carefully. It is very important things to know how you are going to create user and how you are providing access to the user. Okay, user management is most important if you are working on this AWS console. So just give a username here. Suppose I'm going to create an account for Ankit. Okay, so how you know the accounts gets created? Okay, suppose I'll get Ankit, suppose 5 digit Ankit, and suppose give 1 2, or Ankit. What's your last name, Ankit? Okay.
Ankit Kanabar.
Okay.
Ankit dot Kanabar.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just add, suppose Ankit K. This is Ankit K is the username. Okay, and here you will see here you can add multiple users also. If you want to create other users also, you can add another user also. Okay, but I'm going to create single users now. Now what I'm going to show you here, this is very important guys, just remember and see carefully. Select AWS access type. We have access key for programmatic access. I was talking about the programmatic, right? Programmatic access. What is this programmatic access? It enables an access key ID and secret access key for AWS API, CLI, SDK, and the other development tools. If a developer is working and he needs to connect and access to the services, he does not require to access the console, right? The GUI, he does not require to access the UI. He only needs to connect backend to get the service details and work with the services. For that cases, we have to provide the programmatic access to the user. And whenever you create the user, you first need to know what type of user it is. Okay, yes, any questions? Okay, now suppose Ankit is from administrator, actually he appointed as an administrator. So mostly administrator, what they need, they would have both programmatic access and AWS management console access. Also because administrator would have knowledge on programmatic he can write, and also should be able to access to the management console. It's up to you, and it's up to the user, what type of user you're going to add. Suppose he is a developer, Ankit is a developer, he does not require to access the management console, it does not require the UI, he only requires programmatic access, right? If he is a production support guy, he may require programmatic access, he may require console, because sometimes you need to log into the console, and while logging into the console also we can restrict the access, what services, what type of access, either only read access, write access, or only view access is required, or only one service he needs to get access. All these things we can provide. Okay, now suppose I am treating this Ankit is both is an administrator, I'm giving both access to Ankit. So suppose if I am treating as developer, if you see it here, only the access key will be generated, there will be no password will be generated. Okay, if I will just select this password also, password based authentication, that means to the console, it will give you the console password. So let me set up the custom password for this. Okay, so I gave a password like today at the rate 2022. Fine, just remember in case I forget. Fine. So require password reset. So you might have seen whenever you register in any applications or register any website, some the first login you'll be asked to reset your password. Even in your company you might have seen, right? So that is what this require password reset. Okay, so whenever you first log in, it will ask you to reset your password. I just gave today at the rate 2022, so it will be changed when I first log in. Okay, good. So go ahead and next create the permissions. Okay, so here either you can have a group already created, or you can create a group now. So we can create a group. Let's go ahead and create a group. Okay, here how we can create a group. So what is this? Create a group and select the policies to be attached to the group. So here, while creating the group, we need to provide some sort of access to the group, and whatever user will be added to the group, they will have all the permissions and access whatever is attached or given to the group, right? Suppose I'll give a group name as dev group. Okay, simply I just named as dev group. Okay, or I can give dev team, or I can give okay, dev team. This is the group. Now what sort of access they need? They need suppose okay, anyway, it is not dev, I have given as admin access, right? I can give admin team. Okay, so I'll create two users with different accesses. One is, now I'm creating the administrator, as I'm creating him as administrator. So what I'm going to do here, you can select the policies here. Okay, now you can see lots of policies available here. Okay, lots of policies available here. I can suppose I want to give administrator access. So what is this administrator access? You can see the type, job function, provide full access to AWS services and resources. Whatever AWS services are there, resources are there, it will give you the full access, administrator access. Okay, you can see here the policy details, everything it will be written here, and as you know, the policy is written in the JSON format. Okay, what is the JSON format? You might have already worked. If you don't know, the JSON format is it's your JavaScript object notation. Okay, if you see the JSON format, Just Google it and search for the JSON format. It will give you simple things. Okay, JSON format. It will give you, it will show you some format. Okay, it does not display anything here. Sample JSON format. It will give you some images. Yeah. Okay, JSON format this one. Anyway, I'll explain here itself. Now, if you see it here, uh, see what it has actually. If you click on this administrator access, you can see the services, 327 services. Out of 327 services, it has all 327 services access. All accesses it has, all full accesses to all resources. Okay, you can see like this. Now, if you want to see the JSON format, just click on this JSON format and you will find, see, this is the JSON format. And remember, the JSON format we have to write in the key value pair. It's called key value. Suppose the key will be effect and the value is allow, and key is action, the value is star, key is resource, value is star. So this is the only simple policy is written for administrator role. For administrator policy, we have written all this, but this is the version. You have to remember this version to written, and the statement effect allow, action star means all, resource all. It will allow the user to be allowed to use any services, any resources. Okay, now so you understood what are the things and how you can find it out. Now, if you want to see something related to, if you are not sure about the policy name and you want to go and learn something more details, okay, you can just go ahead and check this one, suppose, and go to the JSON format. See, you will find action, A4B get, list, search, and allow. Okay, all these things will be available. Now you know how to find the policy details and all, right? Okay, now if you want to provide, instead of administrator access, you want to provide any other administrator to this guy. Okay, what I'll do, search for administrator. So all the policies related to administrator, it will show here, and you can find it out and assign to that. Okay, so now leave it, select administrator access, create group. Good, admin team, I just created the group. Now you can set the permissions boundary, create user without permission boundary, or use a permission boundary to control the maximum user permissions. As I have given this guy as admin access, I don't want to set up any permissions boundary. I can simply give us without permissions boundary. If you want to provide any permissions boundary, just click on this, then you have to attach the policy. Okay, then you have to attach the policy. So these are the policy which is managed by AWS managed, and there are some job functions also there. Okay, AWS managed means it will be managed by AWS. It will be created by AWS. It has options to create your own policy. It has options to create your own policy also. Okay, I'll show you that. Now I don't want this. Let's go ahead and create user without permission boundary. Go tags, give a name to that name. I can just give administrator. Okay, done. Review. So this is a review part. Username is Ankit K, and it has both programmatic and AWS access management. Console password custom. We have set up the password. Required password set yes. Permission bound is not set. Group added to this, managed policy. IAM user change password. Okay, good. Now tag is, the person is an administrator. Create user. Good. And one more thing, remember, this is very important. Once we create the user, it is allowing us to set and save the access key ID and secret access key. Better you download this one. Okay, just downloaded this one now. And if you want to see here, you have to save this access key ID and the secret key. If you click on it here, it will give you the secret key. Okay, you need this to set off while you're writing any automations or APIs or anything. You need this access key ID and password. Also, it has options to send email. If you click on that, it will be it will send you it will send you an email to your root account, okay, with the access key ID and password, and you can save it somewhere. And how you will log into the IAM user, they have given to a console also. If you want to directly log in, you can select copy this one and directly log into the console. Now I have downloaded this one, right? Let's go ahead and see what it contains. It will be having the same user ID and password. Okay, let's jump in. See, it gives us the access key ID, secret access key, and the console login link. You need to save this username, and it has not given any password because we have set up the password and we have remembered it. If you set on auto generate password, then the password will come here. Okay, as we have set up the password, it is not here. Now you need to save this file securely somewhere, so that nobody can access this file. Okay, now it's up to you how you handle it. Leave it now. Gun. Let me just log into the user. Let me just see. Another thing I forgot to tell you. As soon as you select the IAM, you can see here the region change to global. If you see it here, the region will be, as it is universal, globally available, the service, it will be, see, the region changed to global. You cannot change back to the region to any other specific region because it is globally available. Go ahead and see, all are disabled now. We cannot change anything, okay, because it is universal and globally. You may get questions in interview, what are the services in AWS are universal? There are many other services which will cover. I'll tell you what are the services universal, and we are going to learn it. Okay, now you can see in the IAM dashboard, we have one user group, we have users created. Okay, so go ahead and let's see. I'm just going to sign out the root account and I'll try to connect as IAM user. Now I can provide Ankit to access the sign in icon. Okay, good. So Ankit, also if you want to try, you can try, or anybody also can try with the password I have given. But don't try now. I need to reset the password. I'll show you how it will be, how it will work. Okay. Now just go ahead, log into console. Okay. So when you log into the console, it will ask you to provide the root user and IAM user. Root user and IAM user, right? Select the IAM user. So whenever you select the IAM user, it will ask you to provide the account ID, 12-digit account ID or the account alias. I'll show you how to set up the account alias. Now, either you can use the account ID or account alias. Okay. So the account ID is nothing but, if you go here, I'll show you, you can find it easily from the document. You can see here link, right? This 12 digit is your account ID. Okay, now let me, oops, it opened in a different link. Okay, fine. So let me copy this first. Okay, let me copy this first 12 digit. Okay, get this 12 digit ID, go ahead, paste it here, then next. This is one way to log in, and other way also I'll tell you. Now you have to provide the IAM user and the password. If you don't want to go in this way, what you can do, you can simply click, you can simply, okay, this was, you can simply click uh, the link, or just copy paste the link, copy the link, go ahead and paste it here, hit enter. Okay, that also will take you to the IAM user login window. See, it automatically fetches the account ID. If you don't remember, sometimes what do you just use the link and you automatically fetch the ID. Provide sorry, provide the IAM username. Okay, suppose the name is Ankit K. Password, so it is today. Okay, sign in. Then the first sign in, it will ask us to reset the password. See, Ankit K. So suppose I'll just so it is confirm password change. Okay, confirm the password change. I just click on this confirm password change, and it will ask you to change the password. Okay, so it is done now. I changed the password. As soon as I change the password, you can see here I logged into, and you can see the user ID here, Ankit at the rate this one. Wait, let it load. See, what is this? The new AWS console will, okay. So I'll switch to new AWS console page. Okay, fine. So now you can see just console home, and as Ankit as is an administrator, it has he has all the accesses. He has all the accesses. He can access all the services. You can see he has access all the services. Okay. Now you can see how you can create the user and provide access to that. Okay. Now you can as he has created under Mumbai region first, it will be login to SCF the first, and he can change the region whatever he wants. Now let me go ahead and let me show you whether he can access or not. Go to the EC2 instances, EC2 services. Okay. And you can see it here. He will have all the accesses. See, he is having all the accesses now. He is having all the accesses. If 1 second, and if he wants to launch any instance also, he can launch because he has access to launch. Okay, so see, with this ID account, he can also see whatever the instances running. See, as the root account was my account, right? I had created one server and which is currently running. Ankit has also access to see that, and he also will have access because he has admin access. He can also terminate this server. Okay, let me just go ahead and select it. I don't want to terminate. Okay, I'll just stop it. So stop it. Okay, see, Ankit can able to stop this one because he is having administrator access. Now let's go ahead and create another user with some restricted permission, Okay, I'll just sign out it here. Okay, let Ankit create any user. Okay, as he is the administrator, now he can able to create the user, right? So I'll go ahead here, go to the IAM services. Okay, Go to the IAM services. Now I'll just create an user now. So it is not the root account, it is the admin account. We have logged in as admin account. So let's create another user. It's already one user is there. Now go ahead, add users. Gunjis was saying something. Ankit, come on, is having one network issue. Okay, guys, can you able to hear me, or everyone is facing network issues?
No, Ranjit, it's pretty
I
clear.
can hear
Okay.
you. Yeah, I can hear you. It's clear.
Okay, good. So now the administrator is going to create an user. The root account we are not using. Only the administrator is going, because he is appointed as an administrator for the organization. Now his role and responsibility is to create the users and manage it. Right. So I'll create, suppose user suppose Jyoti. Right. I'll create Jyoti. Uh, K, Jyoti Kumar, right? So I simply Jyoti K I just added, and suppose um, he is only having he's suppose a like no developer, you need programmatic access. Suppose I'm giving only a production support guys. Okay, he's a production support guys, and he is suppose only required console access. Is not required programmatic access, and he is newly joined. Maybe in future he may have access to the programmatic, and I'm just going to give it give only console access. Now set up the custom password. Okay, now go ahead. Same thing I'm giving. Okay, fine. User must create new password sign. Fine. Next, permissions. Okay. So here either I can add this guy to administrator team, or else we can create a separate group with a separate policy attached, so that he will be have some restricted permissions. So how we'll do that? Let's create a different group, because this group has entirely administrator access. I don't want to give this access to Jyoti. I need to create, because Jyoti is having only some restricted permissions. Let's go ahead and create a group. Just give a great group. I can just prod, I can say like ops team. Okay, now go ahead and suppose this ops team has only storage related they supports only storage, they manage and operations, they do only storage related stuffs. So I'll search for suppose S3. This S3 topics I'll cover later, guys. Okay, don't get confused. So I'm suppose giving Amazon S3 full access. Okay, you'll understand when we cover the storage part, don't worry. Now I'm going ahead and creating the group. Now it has only Amazon S3 full access. It does not have any other services access. Okay, git tag. Done. So it is now created. See, it is not giving any access key ID and secret key. Why? Why, guys? Can anybody tell?
Because
Because
he is
I
not an
think,
admin, right?
yeah,
He's not an admin guy.
No, it's wrong.
because it has been created through IAM.
No, but Ankit
The IAM
was
already.
no, that first ID Ankit also was created through IAM only, right? Why it was
Uh,
given the access key ID and secret key, but for Jyoti it was not given no access key ID and no secret key. Okay, I think you watched everything, but you forgot. See, I selected only console access. I have not provided him programmatic access. I have not provided him programmatic access. If I provide programmatic access, there are two options, two type of accesses, right? Remember this in IAM user, whenever you create account, there will be two type of accesses. One is programmatic access, another is console access. I have provided Jyoti only console access. I have not provided programmatic access. If you provide programmatic access, then it will give you the access key ID and secret key. Okay, if remember this is very important and they may get questions. So everything is important, but you have to remember all these things. I am telling all the bullet points and interview related things. Okay. Now that's why there is nothing to store. Only the password you have to remember. Gun. Let's close it. Remember this, guys. Okay. Only the programmatic access will get the access key ID and secret key. If you are only giving see the user Jyoti K has been having created. Good. So now we have two users. We have two users, and we can manage this. Okay, through this here. Now let me log out from Ankit K, and I'll just log into Jyoti K now. Okay. Then let me just log in back. Good. So now if you just to log in back the account ID, you should remember the account ID. Okay, 12 digits account ID. So I think I just forgot to copy the account ID. Now what we'll do? Okay, now let's log in back with different account ID. Let's log in back with Ankit's account ID. Okay, I forgot to copy the account ID of Jyoti, right? So how you will get if you forgot? So where can I get? This is a questions. Okay, if you understand clearly, you can tell answers. If I want to get the informations now, where I should go? Can you tell me the process? How I'll get the informations from where? Which service I should choose?
IAM.
I think
Yes,
IAM.
exactly. So IAM. So this is real time, guys. This is real time. Just correlate everything. If you need any informations from the for any user, if you need any informations for any user, what you need? You have to use the IAM services. You have to correlate the requirement and what service you need it. If you don't correlate the requirement with the services, then you will struggle to find it out. If you have to if you have to provision a server, if you have to create a server, where you have to go, which service you have to choose?
EC2.
Yes, EC2. It should come immediately to your mind that I should go to EC2 and get a server created. If you want to create any user, if you want to see or manage any user, you have to use the user management, that identity access management to service, that is IAM. There are 327 services, guys. We are going to learn only 15 to 18 services which are use it. Yeah, let's see, most of the companies only use 4 to 5 services or 10 services, not more than that. Okay, now let's go ahead and check IAM. And one more good thing I'll tell you, if I go with the users now, you'll see something good, surprising. See, to go here, click on the user. Okay, Jyoti K. I just clicked on the user Jyoti K, and it will give all the details. So it gives the permission details, what are the permissions it has. Okay, and it gives the user ARN also, and you can see here it has the same account ID as Ankit. Why it is? It has same account ID with as Ankit. See, what is this account ID? The account ID is the account created when the account is created. So the account is created, the root account. So this account ID is belongs to the root account. This account ID is belongs to the root account. And if you see here the dashboard here, if you see the dashboard, IAM policy, okay, sorry, IAM dashboard, you'll see the AWS account informations here. See, AWS account informations. So this is the account ID, and this is the account alias. Okay, Ankit K has the same account ID, and Jyoti also is having the same account ID. Now, to remember this 12-digit account ID is quite difficult, right? Either you have to store somewhere or you have to remember it. Remembering is totally difficult to 12-digit number. Better to create an alias. Okay, so if you see here, with this alias name or account ID, the URL looks like this. The URL looks like this. Now let's go ahead and create an alias. So remember this, always you need to create it. So let's preferred alias. I can give us this team as a DevOps team. Okay, so I'll give us this project as a DevOps project, right? So as soon as I just put DevOps, you can see here the 12 digit has now gone. It gives us DevOps. DevOps.signin.aws.amazon.com/console. Okay, now just save the changes. Alias not created for this account. The account alias DevOps has already exist. Okay, I need to, because it is, as it is universal, that means that this alias was already created by someone else, globally available, right? This account is already created, or this link is already created by someone else. So let me give alias like I'll give RK DevOps, RK DevOps, RK DevOps. I hope this should work. The account already exists. Okay, someone has already created. Lots of RK will be available. Okay, I'll give my name, RK Swine. Okay, save changes. Okay, good. So RK Swine, the account now, the alias has changed. See, this is the link now. It will be easy to remember, right? rkSwine.signin.aws.amazon.com, aws.amazon.com. Simple, /console. So let's go ahead and paste it here. See, it is now taking the account alias RK Swine. It is not asking for account ID 12 digit. It is taking the account alias. Got it? Jyoti K, and just give the password. Uh, See, Jyoti is having some restricted access. Only he is having S3 storage related access. He has no other related compute access or IAM access. Nothing he has. Okay. So let me go ahead and give the old password and change it. See here now Jyoti K @RK Swami. If you see my cursor over here, top right hand side, it is giving Jyoti K @RK Swami. Earlier it was giving the earlier it was giving the account ID, right? Now it is giving the alias name. Now you know how to set up the alias name also. Okay. So now let's go ahead and check whether Jyoti is having any other accesses or not. So if I go ahead and check any EC2 instances, let me if if Jyoti is going to see something or check the server related stuff, let's see whether he has access or not. Okay. See what Jyoti is getting now, all API error, because he has no access to it. Okay, if you will click it here also, it will throw error because he has no access at all. So what it says, you are not authorized to perform this operation. Now you understood, and now you know how to restrict the accesses based on the policies. Okay, if Jyoti wants to see, because he is now storage operation guy, right? He can able to manage the storage related services. So if you'll go to S3, right, just go to the storage, and storage has multiple services, but he has only S3 access. Okay, if you'll go to the storage, where is the storage? Okay, storage here. If you select a storage, and if you only S3 he has access, if you go to the S3, okay, now see he is having the access for S3. Now it's giving to create a bucket. Now I can go ahead and create a bucket. See, if Jyoti clicks on create bucket, he is having access to create the bucket. Okay, no error, nothing. Now you'll not understand this bucket and S3 and all the stuffs. In our upcoming classes, will in our storage classes, we'll learn all these things. Okay. Now let me log out of Jyoti. Let me sign out. Now you understood how you can restrict the accesses and policies. Okay. Okay. Guys, do you have any doubt or anything to discuss so far?
No, I think we are good, Ranjit. From our side.
That's really good. Okay. So I have covered many or most of the things in on IAM. Okay, so there are a few things which we'll do on programmatically once we learn some programmatic tools like AWS CLI and other programmatic stuff. And I'll share the documents as soon as we complete entire AWS. Okay, that time you also do your own stuffs by searching, and you'll get more ideas on that. Okay. So I think we can wind up today's class. If I give you everything in one day, you may get struggle to remember all these things. Okay, better you do the practice today itself. I know today is Sunday. You may be tempted to go anywhere outside and all. Just give 2 hours. just learn whatever I showed you. Just do create your user, try to log in back and see, and just go through the documentations of IAM. If you use that IAM, you will be find the documentations and everything. Just go through the documentations in the itself. Okay, and if I go see how you'll find the documentations, it will be very easy, right? You just search, go to the documentations here. I'll tell you how you can use the documentations. Okay, just go to the documentations here, or else you can search here. You can search here, right? You can search IAM. See, AWS Access Management. You can see the pricing as well as the documentation. Click on this. I'll just guide you how you can know. So there are many things to learn. Right? I cannot go each line by line. Right? You have to just read by yourself. I'll just guide you how you can do that, how it works, and all. So how it works, let me tell you. Uh, so here the identity access management and simple things. What are things? See, to whom you want to provide access and what are the access can be provided. I was telling already. You can restrict the accesses with the permissions with IAM policies. And what are the resources you need? What kind of resources you need to provide access? We already seen all this by creating two account ID, right? So now you can see it here. So get started with the AWS IAM. You can find it out here. Also, you can see the pricing informations. Okay. Now let me go back and search the pricing. Now you can see the pricing. Click on this pricing here. It will give you the pricing. Creating the user account, and see IAM is free for 12 months. Okay. Where is the pricing informations? IAM policies, IAM pricing informations, privileges. Okay, it is not giving the IAM pricing. Okay, it is no, IAM policies. Okay, it has not given any pricing information here. Maybe we can calculate this pricing in our next classes. Um, Good. Okay. It has no tools, something like price. So you can follow this AWS. We can get started with AWS. If you click it here, it will give you the details about AWS. Okay. Anyway, you have to again. It is asking to log in. Fine. So just go ahead and learn the documentations and learn how to create users and all. I hope after creating and seeing all these things, you will get questions. Maybe we can discuss in our next class. So next Saturday, as we have covered almost two services, EC2 and IAM, and now we are good to create servers, create users. Now it is good to move on for to learn DevOps. Okay. Now in our next classes, we'll learn DevOps architecture first classes, and then we'll go with different tools. Okay. What are the 7 tools we are going to learn? The first tools that source code management and the repositories, GitHub. In our next classes, we'll learn that.